The Oklahoma City Thunder get revenge on the Memphis Grizzlies. Today in Memphis, the Thunder beat Memphis because SGA returns, Josh Giddey returns, and so many more players that were playing in this game did not play the last time these two teams faced off. So, what happened in this game? How did the Thunder win this game? And Darius Bazley's new role as a bench player is working out to perfection. All coming up on the Locked On Thunder podcast, on Locked On Podcast Network, your teams every day.
You are Locked On Thunder, your daily Oklahoma City Thunder podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Let's get it going on the Locked On Thunder podcast, on the Locked On Podcast Network, your teams every day. I am your host, Rylan Stiles. You can follow me on Twitter at Rylan_Stiles. Follow the show on Twitter at LOThunderPod. Email the show, LOThunderPod@gmail.com. On today's show, brought to you by TrueBill, we will dive into the Oklahoma City Thunder game against the Memphis Grizzlies as the Thunder look to revenge their embarrassing loss as we dive into the new starting lineup and who was locked into that first five for the Thunder and how the Thunder were able to come back and have the biggest swing in NBA history as they lost by 73 points last time, but beat Memphis in this game. This podcast is brought to you by TrueBill. TrueBill is a new app that saves you money by helping you identify and stop paying for subscriptions you do not want or need anymore, or even negotiate better deals for the ones that you want to keep. So the game overview is as followed. Vit was out today. He's with the Blue playing in that showcase, which the Blue have advanced to the championship game of the G League showcase. Ja Morant played for Memphis after missing, I think, 10 or 12 straight games for the Grizzlies. Of course, he did not play whenever the Grizzlies beat the Thunder by 73 points. OKC was looking at Trey Mann at the point guard position and Darius Bazley at the small ball five off the bench, according to Mark pregame. And then Mark also said that long-term, Jeremiah Robinson-Earl is not exclusively a center and that they're going to look for ways to get him at the four, which they did tonight whenever they started him alongside with Derek Favors. Mark also said that only SGA, Lu Dort, and Josh Giddey are locked into the starting five. So they could interchange everyone else, but it seems like they're going to start SGA, Dort, Giddey for every single game this year that they are healthy to play in. Memphis will start in this game Ja Morant, Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson Jr., Dillon Brooks, and Steven Adams. The Thunder start SGA, Dort, Giddey, Jerry, and Favors. Bazley, of course, was the first off the bench, and he had a huge spark for the team. This team allowed us like a 20-7 run. They looked so uninterested at the start of this game. The energy was very, very bad to start. And remember, in the preview yesterday, I was talking about how there should be no excuses to get up for this game and to get excited about this game and to put your best foot forward in these kind of scenarios where you get beat by 73 points last time out against Memphis. And to my surprise, they were not prepared, or I should say prepared. They were not ready to play. They were not amped to play in this game against the Memphis Grizzlies. And when Bazley came in, it all changed. He was just a huge spark for this team, and the energy and the effort level rose whenever Bazley went into this contest, and it maintained and got better throughout the game. So credit to the Thunder for being able to take what was a terrible start. I mean, just an awful, awful, awful start and flip it into what would end up being a win and a positive game with so many key points to touch on that ended up being good for the Thunder. The Thunder win 102-99. The Thunder once down by 16 points, so they got down by 16 in this game, and then they once got up by 10 in this game. 6 times this contest was tied. 13 times there was a lead change in this contest. The Thunder shot 42% from the floor and 28% from deep and 67% from the line. Memphis shot 38% from the floor, 34% from deep, and 76% from the line. Points in the paint goes to Memphis, 54-36. Second chance points goes to Memphis, 22-15. Here's the big one, fast break points. You know that I preach and preach and preach about fast break points. Well, in this game, the Thunder won the fast break battle 16-12. And the last time these two teams played, whenever they had that historic loss, the fast break points were 0-0. There were no fast break points for either team in that game. The Thunder did not really gain control of this game until a late second quarter run really helped them bring it back to like a tie around halftime. I think they actually went down in the locker room, down one or whatever. But of course, they narrowed the gap totally in the second quarter. But they didn't take control of this game and really put their stamp on it until the third quarter, mid-third quarter run. They had a huge run that allowed them to go on to win this game. In the second half of this game, the Thunder shot 49% from the floor. Memphis only shot 38% in the second half. Memphis dominated the rebounding boards early. I mean, it was embarrassing how efficient the Grizzlies were at getting rebounds. Steven Adams broke records in the first quarter, and he was on pace to pull in a bajillion rebounds. We're going to go with the on-pace stat there. And it was kind of expected because, this is a Thunder team that's very small and that it's not built for boards, and this is a Memphis team that plays particularly big considering the modern NBA landscape. And Adams finishes with 14 rebounds in this game. So he had like 12 of those, though, in like the first quarter. So obviously, things turn around on the board as the Thunder win the battle of the glass 62-60, but that was a very big shock that they were able to overcome that and kind of win that battle on the rebounding edge against Memphis. 7 blocked shots for the Thunder. Memphis only blocked 2 shots. Now, of course, Darius Bazley, the biggest proponent of that with 4 blocks. The only player on the Thunder who had multiple blocks was Darius Bazley with his 4. The Thunder had 5 double-digit scores. Memphis had 4 double-digit scores. And, of course, the Thunder walk away with a big win. And it's just another game where it's a fun and exciting contest. And that's really what you want to see happen here. I mean, this is a young team that we know is not going to contend for a championship. We know that their goal is not to contend for a championship, but their goal is to develop players and to grow players. And whenever you have fun games like this and competitive games, it's not only enjoyable for us to watch at home, but it's a environment in which you can productively learn in, and you can have trial and error and see what works and doesn't work down the stretch of games and play in these competitive and close games. But coming up, we're going to talk about individual efforts and who stood out on each team, but specifically, of course, the Thunder. And we're going to start with Darius Bazley, who really turned this game around with his efforts. But first, I want to say right now, my good friends over at TrueBill. TrueBill is incredible. Do you want to know why that free trials renew without your consent? It's because it's a business scam to get you out of your money. So do not let these greedy corporations pocket your money. Download TrueBill and take control of your life and your money right now. And do not let greedy corporations scam you out of your money. TrueBill is a new app that helps you identify and stop paying for subscriptions you do not need, want, or simply forgot about. On average, people save $720 per year with TrueBill because companies make subscriptions hard to cancel. TrueBill makes it incredibly simple. It is all in one tap at TrueBill. They have a concierge that is there for you if you need them to help you cancel your unwanted subscriptions, so you do not have to. TrueBill has over 2 million users, help save up to $100 million. TrueBill is there for you, so do not fall for subscription scams anymore. Start canceling today at TrueBill.com/LockedOnNBA. You can start canceling subscriptions today at TrueBill.com/LockedOnNBA. TrueBill.com/LockedOnNBA. Let's say right now about our good friends over at BetOnline.ag. BetOnline is your online sportbook experts. They're helping you out. They're letting you bet on sports. It's a lot of fun whenever you're sitting around when watching a game. If you have some action on it and you have an ability to have a rooting interest. I use the example of Christmas Day. We all love Christmas Day games. We all watch Christmas Day games. And the thing is, this year, the Thunder are not playing Christmas Day. So who are you going to root for? Who's going to get your vested interest besides just watching good basketball? You can do so and get that interest and rooting interest by going to betonline.ag and betting on the game and prop bets and spreads and over-unders and things like that all throughout the Christmas Day slate and all throughout the season. As football marches on to the playoffs, you can bet on football too. Basketball, football, NHL, boxing, UFC, and even your favorite Vegas casino games. Do not wait. Take advantage of these amazing offers available for the 2021 season. BetOnline is the fastest and best way to bet on all of your favorite sports, so do not wait. Take advantage of these amazing offers at betonline.ag, where the game starts. Use the code LOCKEDON for a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. A 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit at betonline.ag by using our code LOCKEDON. We are back on Locked On Thunder Podcast, on Locked On Podcast Network, your teams every day. I am your host, Rylan Stiles. You can follow me on Twitter at Rylan_Stiles. It's at RYLAN_STILES. You can follow the show on Twitter at LO Thunderpod. Email the show, lothunderpod@gmail.com. Call into the show, 405-362-7128. Thank you for making Locked On Thunder your first listen every single morning, every single day. We are here for you, talking Thunder basketball. Subscribe for free across all platforms, including the new platform of YouTube. So make sure that you go check that out. For your second listen, go check out the Locked On NBA podcast because they're going to get you set for all the news and notes around the association. And you know that there is a lot to get to as we have these health and safety protocol news breakings every time you turn around. Stay up to date on who's playing, who's in, who's out with Locked On NBA and Locked On Fantasy Basketball. If you're a fantasy basketball player and need to know the injury reports up to the minute, Josh Lloyd does so many shows a day to make sure that you all know exactly what's happening around the NBA. So the big thing from an individual standpoint, we did the team overview and how the team was able to win this game, but Bazley was a big proponent of this as a player. 4 for 7 from the floor, 57% from the floor, 1 for 3 from 3, 7 rebounds and assists, 4 blocks, 10 points. He looked great. He had one drive where you can say, that was probably a bad decision. Probably shouldn't have done that, Darius Bazley. One drive where he did his little ISO spinning in the lane shot that resulted in a turnover. Okay, he had one bad possession. And I think that because of the narrative around Darius Bazley and because 90% of the fan base doesn't like Darius Bazley, that his one bad possession gets hyperextended and just talked about nonstop. And it kind of clouds what was a really, really great game from Darius Bazley. Whenever, folks, SGA has bad games too. Josh Giddey has bad plays too. Pokashevsky has some really bad plays too. Everyone has bad plays. No one is going to play a perfect game. It's impossible to have one possession that you can single out and say, look right here, though. Yeah, they did all this great stuff over here, but look at this one drive that really, really hurt the team. Literally every player has that happen to them. So all in all, this was a great game from Darius Bazley, 23 minutes tonight, and I think that the Thunder should keep him in this bench role. I know that a lot of you have already kind of given up on Bazley, but the team hasn't, the organization haven't, and I haven't because of his potential as an athlete, his potential as a player. But I think that you don't want to rush him back to a starting role. Of course, every competitor, every player wants to be a starter. From SGA down to Gabriel Deck, everybody in this team wants to be in that starting 5. It's a prestige thing. It's a class thing. It's just every competitor wants to be there. And so obviously Bazley, as he continues to have these good games, will want to be in the starting unit. But you do not want to rush that. And I do not think that the Thunder will rush that. But you do not want to rush that back because I think that it can really be more beneficial in the long run for Darius Bazley and for the team in general. Because remember, if the team finds a way to hit on Darius Bazley and make it pan out in some capacity, that helps the rebuild as well. It's another player that you have at your disposal because right now, the Thunder don't have sweeteners. We can talk all about the great picks that Pressey's made, the trades, the draft capital, but draft picks alone do not get deals done. We saw that last offseason. You need sweeteners. And right now, the Thunder do not have anybody you can throw in with those draft picks to make a trade. Because you don't want to throw in SGA. You don't want to throw in Josh Giddey. Most of you don't want to throw in Lou Dort. You don't want to throw in Pokashevsky. You don't want to give up on him. So you're running out of options to sweeten the deal along with those draft picks. And so Bazley panning out not only as a player for the Thunder, but as a potential sweetener for the Thunder in a trade would be big for this Thunder's future. So that's why the organization is not giving up on him. And that's why no one should give up on him yet. And that's why long-term it's best, I think, to keep him in this bench role because it was clear over these last 2 years that his confidence was going downhill and downhill and downhill and downhill on the offensive end. Let him play this small ball role, which if you've listened to the show since I took over in May 2020, you know that I've been saying, hey, this team needs to start looking at Bazley at the small ball 5. In that Houston Rockets playoff series in the bubble, I was screaming for Darius Bazley to play small ball 5 and exploit the Houston Rockets. And whenever Billy Donovan did put him in small ball 5 positions in that series, the Thunder played really well. So letting him play that position, letting him play in that role and play against bench players is just a huge confidence builder, a reminder to Darius Bazley what he can accomplish, what he can be in this league, doing it against NBA athletes and NBA game action. So I think that the Thunder should keep him on that bench role for a month at least and let him continue to build on these good games. Because remember, the big struggle with Bazley in that starting group and in these last 2 seasons was not missing out on a big game or not having those big games. He would have big games. He would have legitimately good games and great games even that you could grade out as great. If you want to look at them from a critical eye and break down every single possession, you could break them down as great throughout this entire stretch these last 2 years that he's been awful overall. The problem with Bazley was not being able to build on these games, not being able to take one game that was really good and turn it into two. And the problem is he can turn one bad game and turn it into 3 or 4. So flipping that script right there can go a long way for his development and also can really be flipped by using him in that bench role. Show him that he can build on these games. Show him that tomorrow against the Nuggets, he can play very well and he can use this game and use what he did in this game right and duplicate that tomorrow and continue to build and stack success onto success and help him grow as a player. Pokusevski, though, got a huge stretch of minutes this time. And remember, we've been talking all season long that, he only gets 10 minutes in a game, 9 minutes in a game, 11 minutes in a game. In this game, he got 21 minutes, had 3 rebounds. I should say 5 rebounds, 2 assists, a block, 3 points, and 1 turnover. Pokusevski was really good tonight for his role. I think that Pokusevski only took 3 shots. He took 2 of them from 3-point land, and he just is playing within himself. And he still has that flair about himself, but he's not doing the blooper reel stuff, which is why I think that you're seeing his minutes increase. And he still shows you those flashes of what could be from Pokusevski, what he might be able to do long term for the Thunder. But there was also good bench play from Kenny Hustle and Mike Muscala. Kenny Hustle had 13 points, 3 rebounds, a steal, an assist, 1 shot missed for Kenny Hustle. He was really good tonight and helped this Thunder team win. And so was Mike Muscala, who had 9 points and a rebound. And I want to give him credit because he went 1 for 3 from 3-point land. That's obviously rare for Muscala, who's having the best year of his career from deep. He's usually 3 for 3 from distance, but he was able to contribute in a multitude of ways because he got to the line 6 times. He made 1 3, got to the line 6 times, go 6 for 6. So he was able to get fouled, of course, on that one 3-point shot, which helps you kind of increase your free throw attempts. But still, when you can get Muscala at the stripe, you're getting free points. Obviously, you think that you're going to get free points whenever you get them wide open on the 3-point line, but sometimes the ball doesn't bounce your way because it's a basketball and it's a rim and it's fluky, right? But one thing that's certain is usually getting him to the line. He'll go perfect from the stripe. And so credit to him for getting going and getting himself going to the line. Of course, the foul of the jump shot helped, but other than that, he was still very, very good. And the other elder statesman, Derek Favors, did good too. 6 points, a steal, a block, and assist, 5 rebounds, and 3 for 7 shooting in that starting role. We'll talk tomorrow about what I think that the starting lineup should kind of mainly be as we kind of figure out from Mark who the locks are, which we said before, SGA, Lou Dort, Josh Giddey. And then I think that Jeremiah Robinson should be a lock, but Mark pushed back on that and said he's not ready to say that yet whenever Andrew Schlecht asked him about that. So we'll talk tomorrow about kind of the different lineup combinations and what kind of might be the best fit. I'm not sure Derek Favors is the best fit for the starting group, but he did play well in this game. He played really, really well in this game. So credit to him for helping out against a bigger Memphis squad. And I think that for this game specifically, for this matchup specifically, it was a good call from Mark to start Derek Favors. So you listen to podcasts for the power of knowledge. You switch to Boost Mobile for the power of saving money because Boost Mobile, you can get the power of a free 5G phone so you can listen to all the latest episodes of Locked On Thunder, the power of 3 unlimited data lines for $30 a month per line so your family can harness all that brain power too, and the power of one of America's leading 5G networks so you can do all that at the speed of 5G. With all that money you'll save and all that knowledge you're going to gain, just how powerful can you become? Switch to Boost Mobile and find out. Get a free Samsung Galaxy A32 5G when you switch to one of America's largest 5G networks. More power to save. Boost Mobile. Free phone lines limited to new customers and 1 per line. Additional restrictions apply. Offers and coverage unavailable everywhere or for all phones/networks. See boostmobile.com for details. We are back on Locked On Thunder Podcast, on Locked On Podcast Network, your teams every day. Thank you for making Locked On Thunder your first listen every single day, every single morning. We're here for you talking Thunder basketball. So make sure you check us out and subscribe for free across all platforms, including the new platform of YouTube. Every episode we put out is free, so you can listen to all of them at no cost to you. And want to say right now to go check out our sister show, Locked On Bets, because Locked On Bets is a daily podcast that's a one-stop shop for all of your gambling needs. Locked On Bets is hosted by your boy Q. An expert analysis and insight from Lee Sterling. Is free and available on all platforms and helps you win money because they are on a hot streak right now and they are winning their bets. So make sure you go check them out over there at Locked On Bets, wherever you get your podcasts from. Now, let's get into the rest of this game. Obviously, we've touched on Poku, Bazley, Muscala, Kenny Hustle, Derek Favors, but it also came from your bona fide stars. SGA plays 36 minutes tonight, and he scores 23 points, 4 assists, 5 rebounds, 3 steals, including what was the game-sealing steal. He did go 0 for 5 from 3, 42% from the floor in general, and the 8 free throw attempts. And remember, last time out, he had 0 free throw attempts, so it was good to see him getting back to the stripe and getting 8 free throw attempts. He only missed 1 shot at the line, goes 7 for 8. Now, the three-pointers, you'd like to see him go better than 0 for 5. That's kind of self-explanatory. But with SGA, it's kind of in that weird kind of ground of you do not want to take the three-pointers out of his game. You do not want to shut him down from shooting step backs. You do not want to shut him down from shooting side steps because you think that as he continues to try those and continues to grow those, that it can really benefit your offense long-term, even if there's some growing pains right now. But of course, you want to also find ways for him to get going as a scorer currently, not just in the future. So he's still doing a great job of scoring, still doing a great job offensively, just finding ways to get him going from 3 instead of going 0 for 5 and make that more kind of consistent. But it's hard. I mean, it's really hard whenever you're trying out a new weapon in your arsenal, so to say. So I think that SGA played great today, especially getting those steals and helping this team out in a massive way on that inbound steal that he says that all night Memphis threw some lazy inbound passes, and he knew that he could get it, but he wanted to save it and wait and not exploit that until the end of the game. And so it actually worked out to their advantage, and the Thunder win this game in a large part due to SGA and also Josh Giddey, who had 19 points, 11 assists, 5 rebounds, 3 3-pointers made. He's an amazing cutter, folks. I know we talk about his assists, 11 of them, they were all spectacular. They were all jaw-dropping for the most part. 19 points from him. 5 rebounds. He's an elite rebounder for his size, of course, but he does not, I don't think, get enough credit for the ability that he has to cut to the rim, and not just cut to the rim, but locate himself off the ball. And whenever he's playing off ball, he's able to figure out a way to exploit the defense and find that soft spot where they're not going to be at. I think back to one of the steals that happened late in the game. I can't remember if it was a Lou Dort steal or an SGA steal, but it happened right around the half-court line, and so there was, of course, that cluster because you didn't really have it happen deeper in the other side of the court. So there's that initial burst of, hey, the ball's loose. Someone's got to get the ball. It's alive right now. And then it ends up being a cluster of, okay, now Lou Dort has it. Where all do we go? And so SJ does a great job of controlling the ball. Lou Dort, I think, flared out to the corner 3. And then Josh Giddey just shuffles his feet into the free throw line area, gets the feed from SGA as an easy layup, and the Thunder were able to put the dagger in the Memphis Grizzlies off of that because of that smart relocation from Josh Giddey as a 19-year-old, not to freak out and not really know where he's supposed to be. And I think that's a huge credit to Mark, too, of like everyone kind of understands where they're going to be. And I think that Mark deserves a ton of credit for this game because he was fantastic on drawing up out-of-bounds plays. He was fantastic at getting the team to rise to their energy level after a sloppy start and a start where this team looked like they didn't want to be there after losing by 73 points last time out. And Mark did a good job of correcting that within the flow of a game. And then also, I think that his lamps were great. I think that, of course, his out-of-bounds plays were great. And just as I just said about the locationing, every player knows their job on the Thunder. And that's really hard to do in general for NBA teams, but also really hard to do for a young NBA team. And so it's incredible to see that happening under Mark. The rotation today, Gabriel Deck did not play. Ty Jerome did not play. Taylor did not play. Isaiah Roby did not play. Paul Watson Jr. did not play. Vit did not play, and Aaron Wiggins only played 5 minutes. Bet of the day, I had the Thunder plus 10. That cashed. Moneyball pick, I had a Lou Dort, and that cashed as well, but both were correct for Lou Dort and Josh Giddey on that Moneyball pick. The MVP of the game, I got Josh Giddey as the MVP, 19 points, 11 assists, 5 rebounds, only 3 turnovers as kind of more of a ball handler in this game. 3 for 8 from 3, 43% from the floor. Up next on the Locked On Thunder podcast, we're going to have our Christmas wish list episode on Wednesday, on Thursday, Nuggets recap, and on Friday, Suns recap. All that's coming up for you on the Locked On Thunder podcast, on Locked On Podcast Network, your teams every day. And so until tomorrow, be good and be good to one another.